Hello and welcome everyone into this robotics course by Progress Labs. In this course, I'm going to be your teacher. My name is Aman. I'm a robotics engineer working over here in Germany in Bosch as a consultant, and I work with other companies as well. Since I'm a consultant, I can work from anywhere in the world. And this time of the year, I'm in Germany because it's a really nice weather here as well. But in this course, I'll be teaching you robotics from scratch. So if you're new to the journey, grab your notebook, grab your pen, and get ready to learn a lot of things. And we'll have a lot of fun. We'll understand robotics from absolute scratch. So you don't need to make any sort of efforts figuring out understanding basics. We're going to cover everything from scratch. So it's going to be very simple, very easy for you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's start understanding the robotics from absolute beginning. And we are going to start with Introduction to Robotics, where we're going to talk about how and what are the basics you need to know when you are starting with robotics. Okay, this is chapter 1 and module 1. So hope you enjoy it and hope you have fun. And let's get started. Okay, so let's say you don't have any knowledge about robotics and this is the first time you're understanding robotics. So let's go on the absolute definition of robotics, okay? So robotics is a branch of engineering and science that deals with study of robots, their design, manufacturing, and application. What we're talking about here is that you are going to understand how robots are being built, how they are created, and how they are manufactured for every single process, okay? Now, this can have multiple areas, this can have multiple resource places, and this can also have different possibilities as well, okay? Let's say you're working on a robotic arm, and a robotic arm is designed for picking up boxes. Next time, you can use the same robotic arm to pick up even, food carrots or food boxes as well. Now, this robotic arm can also, serve drinks or can also cut vegetables, and the applications are unlimited. The whole idea is that you need to understand that a robot is very universally designed. It's designed to make sure that, it helps you, it assists you, and it makes sure that your life is becoming better every day. And that's the main idea. That robots are specifically designed to make sure that you have a better lifestyle and you have a better outcome every day. Okay, so that's very important. Let's move on to the next point, which is going to be a robot is a machine that can be programmed to perform various tasks, automatically. Very important thing that you need to know that in this case, I'm talking about autonomous robots, which means that robots are programmed to do autonomous behavior, and which also means that robots are programmed for specific tasks as well. Okay, as I mentioned before, that if a robot is designed to pick up boxes, and then now you need to program the robot for cutting vegetables, it's going to be a whole different program altogether. But the whole idea over here is that you need to understand that every use case has a different application and every use case has a different program. Okay, very important. Okay, now we're just starting up. Okay, so it's more about definitions and understanding which all things you need to know, and make sure that you try to note it down one by one. I'm trying to capture more ideas as we go along, and I'm going to give you more examples as we go along as well. Okay, let's look at the third important definition. Okay, the field of robotics involves a wide range of technology, including mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, and artificial intelligence. Now, this is very wide. Okay, it means that if you are someone who is just entering into robotics, rule number one is to understand that there are going to be a lot of things which are going to happen in robotics. Okay, it's not something which is very small or very simple. It requires a lot of different technologies to come together and make something incredible. And that incredible is something that is going to make sure that you are a true robotics engineer. Okay, very important point. Now let's go a little back to the time and brief history about robotics. Okay, the history of robotics can be tracked back to the ancient time when Greeks and the Chinese built mechanical devices that will perform simple tasks. Okay, you need to understand that robots are essentially devices or machines which are helpful in automating things. Okay, automation is the key of how you perform or how you make something happen. Okay, in robots as well, what happens is that you are specifically telling that this operation needs to be done, and I don't want to perform that operation. Someone else or some mechanical structure needs to perform that operation. The same thing happened in ancient times. Robots existed, okay, but the term robot was not there. And the term robot came along after time, okay? But the whole idea was that the Greeks and the Chinese already figured out that the easiest way to, automate the processes is to build machines that can do things off, okay? Now, this process of designing, planning, and, creating these machines is something that required and, something that wanted robots to be there. And that's what we are going to talk about here. Okay. However, modern robotics began in the 20th century with the introduction to electronics and computer technology. Can you imagine right now we are using so much technology and so much robotics every day, It's hard to say that we cannot, we can live without it. Let's take an example. Okay, let's say you are in a car manufacturing company. 90% of the car manufacturing company are now automated. Okay, 90%. That's a very huge number. The reason for that is because car demand has increased so much. Okay, everyone wants to buy a new car. Okay, be it a Maruti Suzuki or a Mercedes Benz. Okay, every car manufacturing company needs to make sure that their car supply demand has been achieved. And to make that possible, the only way to do that is to not use humans. Okay, and that's where technology comes into picture, and that's where robots come into picture, and that's why robotics plays such an important role. Okay, then let's talk about the first robot. The first industrial robot, the Ultimate, was developed in 1954 by George Devol and Joseph Ellenberger. Now, this is a very key fact for you. Okay, the reason why this is a very key fact is for the fact that a lot of people over here and a lot of industrial revolution over here start to happen, and people start to see, okay, things are changing, things are getting better, and things are getting built every day, and that's where things start to take place. And people start to know, okay, the robots exist, and robot have a space in the society, and they start to accept robots as well. Since then, the field of robotics has expanded rapidly, and significant advancements in the area such as AI and machine learning and computer vision. Now I can give you more examples about this thing. You must have seen Teslas are very popular cars which are all autonomous and that have extreme capabilities in understanding, going around, and figuring out how do you want to drive. You want the car to drive, or you want to drive. Full autonomous capabilities, extremely possible and extremely capable of driving into areas where humans cannot go, and very capable of also assisting humans in critical situation as well. Let's say there's an accident which is going to happen. Since all these cars are getting autonomous, what happens is these cars can talk to each other and communicate. Okay, this is this one car, and the second car is coming, and the cars talk to each other, and they just give data to each other and tell, okay, there's a car which is coming, so I should stop. The part of the research that I'm working over here in Bosch is the same. Okay, I'm working on V2H network, which basically talks about how cars talk to each other and how cars share their data, and that's what we are talking about here as well. Now let's look at type of robots. Okay, robots can be classified based upon their application, function, and design. Some common type of robots is what we're going to look at. Okay, so classification is something that we start to classify so that we know how to identify and all these robots look like. Okay, so let's talk about the simplest one, which is industrial robot. Now, in an industrial robot, it's very typical to see orange color. Okay, that's why you see this orange color. The reason for using an orange color is for the fact that these robots are designed to work in an industrial environment, and these industrial environment want to have the maximum visibility in all times. Okay, and for safety reasons, and for procurement reason, and for also hygienic reasons, orange color, red color, yellow color are very prominent in robots. Okay, that's why any industrial robot that you will see that usually they're yellow or orange mostly. Okay, and sometimes white as well. If they're being used in a medical industry, then they are kept white purposefully so that you can see if there's a dust particle or something, or a dirt particle, and that's what makes these robots very acceptable commercially as well. Okay, now all of these things and all of these robots have something which in common, which is very visible. All of these robots are designed to work for timeless hours. Okay, they can work 24/7, 365 days a year without getting rested. All they need is a power supply and instructions of what to do, and they will continuously do that without any stoppage. That's what makes these industrial robots so robust. Then these are humanoid robots. Okay, industrial robots also can look like humanoid robots as well. This is obviously something which is not there in the market yet, but the whole idea is that industrial robots can also have a humanoid look. If you have known Tesla makes humanoid robots which look like this actually, and they're designed to perform repetitive tasks very quickly and accurately. Okay, very quickly and accurately are the two keywords which are very important. If the robots are not quick, or if the robots are not accurate, then making them is going to be very slow, and they're not going to be very helpful to anyone. Okay, so then we have service-based robot. Now you might have seen service-based robots here and there. The whole idea is that these robots are used in various industries such as healthcare, hospitality, and education. A very easy way to identify if the robot is a service-based robot or a service robot is the fact that usually all these robots look very cute. Okay, now I'm not even joking. The reason for these robots to look very cute is to make sure that the person feels comfortable. If you see a robotic arm like this, you would feel very awkward. You feel very scared. But if you feel something like this, this small doll, okay, you will feel like, okay, this is something which is harmless and I can be very well around it. And that's the whole idea about it. The whole idea is that, you need to make sure that the robots are friendly enough that the people feel comfortable, people feel, good about it, and people feel that, these are actually really good robots and they communicate really well. So that's why all these robots, all the service-based robots are designed to look very familiar, very easygoing, not so pressurizing, and very, very happy as well. That's very important. And they're designed to perform the tasks which require human intelligence, such as assisting with daily activities or providing customer service. Now, you might have seen some of the robots in areas like, when you go out, when you go to a restaurant or something, you see some of the robots, which are very friendly to humans, and they provide service. In India, especially, okay, in Bangalore, I remember when in 3 years back, I was there in Bangalore and I went to a robot restaurant, and the robots look very clean, very easygoing. And even if you trust them, they don't really, start to panic out or something. They are very easy to, communicate and, tell, okay, this is happening. And that's something which is very special, I feel. What happens is that, all these robots are designed to make sure that, they help and assist human. Assisting and helping makes these things very easy and very helpful as well. And that's what we are talking about here when we talk about service-based robots. Okay. Now let's talk about mobile robots. Okay, this is where hardcore robotics come into picture. Okay, these are designed to move around and operate various environments. Okay, usually you see all these robots in industrial floors. Okay, industrial shops. What happens is these robots are capable of doing operations in and around the area and are capable to help the industry take one things from the other. I'll give you a very simple example. When you order something from Flipkart, what happens is these robots pick the boxes from Flipkart storage houses, and then put it on the conveyor belt, wraps all the packaging, put the label on, and then it's automatically gets delivered to the delivery partner, and the delivery partner knows where to send it off. The whole idea is that all these processes are going to be so automated that you don't need to put any effort into it. Okay, you don't need to put any sort of planning, or you don't need to put any sort of more ideology into this thing. Everything is going to happen on its own. Okay, that's the best part. The whole idea is that all these mobile robots are not going to have any sort of extra person to head them off. They're going to do everything on their own. Okay, then, and that's what makes them fully autonomous as well. Okay, some people also call them fully autonomous because you have no interception between these robots, and these robots can take decisions on their own. Perfect. So, and they're also used in logistics, security, and agriculture. As I mentioned, logistics, as I mentioned, the example of Flipkart. Okay, a Flipkart is a logistic management company, which means that they are going to receive hundreds of orders, okay, in a week and maybe in a day as well. Yeah, so hundreds of orders in a week or a day, and depending on the demand, these robots can help them achieve the goal which they need. Okay, if you think about it, I mean, if you put so many humans who are going to be having all these problems, then these people and these applications are going to be having like a lot of issues. So the better idea is to go with this logistical robots, and they can help you out solve all the problems that you want. Perfect. Now, security. Okay, imagine a robot which can automatically scan your area, or a drone which can scan your area. Okay, and inspect if there's a problem. And so mobile robots come into picture. Of course, a drone is not a mobile robot, but yeah, that's something which is also there. Let's talk about humanoid robots. Okay, humanoid robots have a very simple name. Okay, it means that they look like humans, of course, and this also means that since they look like humans, they are gonna behave like humans as well. Okay, Tesla, as I mentioned before as well, they are making industrial humanoid robots, which means they are gonna help the humans in the industry. But also they can be further, introduced for other local applications, other areas where you feel like something needs to be automated, and humanoid robots play a very important role over there. And that's what the best thing about humanoid robots is. They are used in research, development, entertainment, and education. Right now, they're not really industrial so far, but in research, they are amazingly ahead. You can actually check out, my video of a humanoid robot playing a xylophone. I have the video, of the robot on my YouTube channel. I can put the link here if you want. Okay. But yeah, this is what makes them, really progressive and very helpful as well. So, application of robots. Okay, let's look at some of the application and use cases of areas. Okay, because since the robots are so many, you also need to understand, and also need to know where all the you can apply this knowledge. Okay, let's start with the some of the basic applications that you will see a robot being performing, and you will see that robots are being used. The first one, of course, is manufacturing. As I mentioned before, be it Maruti Suzuki or Mercedes Benz, every car manufacturing company needs to make sure that the demands are fulfilled, and for that they use these robots. Okay, and these robots make sure that they help you build and they help you create this sense of automation, and this sense of automation is going to help them build robots that are going to be helpful as well. So all these manufacturing companies use this, and this is where this comes into picture. Then we have healthcare. Healthcare is used in tasks such as surgery, rehabilitation, and patient care. So imagine like during COVID time, especially when a lot of people were under quarantine, and it was not possible for anyone to go out and take care of these humans, and people were facing the problem that the nurses was not enough. What happened? The major or the first thing that happened is like that all these people were put into healthcare, and so many lives were at risk. And at that time, a lot of COVID robots also came into picture, that these robots were helping people look at different patients, check their stats, check their vitals, and do things like that. And that's what healthcare really means. Space exploration. Imagine in the coming future, when no longer humans are being sent, humanoid robots will be sent in the space, to make sure that everything is safe over there, and everything is all checked up, and take samples of the soil and everything. And that's where space exploration comes into picture. Okay, these days as well, NASA uses rovers, okay, or what do you call, mobile robots, that go into space and take soil samples. I actually know a couple of people who in the GPN laboratories, who are working at the end, day in and day out, to work on these robots. And surprisingly, some of the robots are actually very accurate, and that's what makes them really powerful. Okay, but let's move ahead. And then we have transportation. Okay, everyone knows about transportation and the potential that it holds. Self-driving cars have taken shape in so many areas, in so much ways, that robots cannot be left behind, of course. Okay, you can see robots taking care of humans, making sure that humans are reaching where they want to reach, and so many other things as well. Okay, and transportation has always been like a key essential part of this thing, and that's where humans and that's where robots come into picture. Let's look at future of robotics. Okay, let's see where this thing is going. Okay, now this, as you have understood, that this first chapter is basically an introduction and giving a whole broad idea. Okay, whole broad idea, to make sure that you know what is happening, and you have the current status update of the robots first. Okay, so we're going to look at future possibilities where you should work on, okay, so that you can have a very good career in robotics, and how you can build a career in robotics as well. So, more advanced artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities. We all have seen ChatGPT, which is changing the way everyone is living these days. And that's more about AI. But sooner or later, all this AI capability will be transferred to a robot, so that the robot can also think. Here, they can react and they can take actions, and that's going to be amazing, actually. Increased use of sensors and data analytics. Okay, to use sensors to make sure that all these sensors are capable enough, and all these sensors are taking a lot of data, and then resulting in good amount of input or output. And that's what this means. Development of more human like robots, humanoid robots, as I mentioned, is going to be very common. Okay, right now we don't see that much, but soon or later we would be able to see it. Integration of robotics into various industries and application. You can see that robots are going to be integrated everywhere. Okay, you can see robots everywhere, and that's going to be quite an amazing thing to see. And we're done. I hope this lecture, or this first lecture, helped you understand what robots hold for you. Okay, what these robots are capable as well of doing as well, and it give you an idea of how the robot dynamics work. Okay, in the next upcoming lectures, we are going to build different ideologies, build different methods, and learn about different methods of how robots are built. And we're also going to look at different kinematics, different motion planning, different a lot of other things which are going to help you develop a good amount of skill in robots. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, happy learning and peace.